Total war makes no sense. I speak of peace, therefore, as the necessary, rational end of rational men.
There are worrying signs that the world is entering into a new nuclear arms race. For the first time since 1972, there is no longer any treaty putting legally binding limits on American and Russian nuclear stockpiles, raising risks of expansion and proliferation by other nations in response. China is rapidly building up its nuclear arsenal and is expected to have 1,000 weapons by 2030. One of the very few countries to have given up nuclear weapons is Ukraine. And what kind of example does that set for what happens to national self-defense and deterrence without the weapon? START is an acronym for Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, and the original deal was signed by George H.W. Bush and Mikhail Gorbachev on behalf of the Soviet Union and the USA in 1991. It limited the number of nuclear warheads and the number of intercontinental ballistic missiles. After it expired, President Obama signed a new START treaty in 2010 with the then Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. This limited the number of deployed nuclear warheads to 1,550 each and allowed for up to 18 in-person inspections a year.
The United States and Russia have agreed to the most comprehensive arms control agreement in nearly 2 decades.
New START was due to expire in 2021, but a 5-year extension was agreed under President Biden. But that has now expired as of February the 5th, and there's been no replacement. The beginning of the end for New START came in 2023 when President Putin suspended Russia's participation around tensions linked to the war in Ukraine. In response, the USA stopped sending data to Moscow about the locations of its own missiles and launchers. What we were hearing from President Trump was that he wanted a new treaty not just with Russia, but also to bring in China as well.
The president wants to have our nuclear experts work on a new, improved, and modernized treaty that can last long into the future, and that's what the United States will continue to discuss with the Russians.
But China's not keen. It wants to expand its own arsenal to match those of Russia and America. There were hopes that even without a replacement treaty, that Russia and America would agree to abide by the principles of the old treaty. President Obama, who negotiated the New START treaty, warned that its expiry would, quote, pointlessly wipe out decades of diplomacy and could spark another arms race that makes the world less safe. And Medvedev, who signed that agreement with Obama, has also said that the end of New START should, quote, alarm everyone.
The Secretary General said the expiration of the New START treaty marks a grave moment in international peace and security, that this is dissolution of decades of achievements could not come at a worse time.
All of this has caused the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists to move forward the hands of the Doomsday Clock, the device that it inaugurated in 1947 to highlight the dangers to the world of nuclear proliferation, to 85 seconds to midnight. This is the closest that it's ever been in an assessment of the predicament of humanity. Some experts are warning of what they call friendly proliferation, and that means countries that currently rely on America for its nuclear umbrella wanting to develop their own weapons for protection, perhaps from Russia, such as Poland or even Germany. And what about Turkey, another signatory of the Non-Proliferation Treaty, which has expressed an interest in having nuclear weapons? 9 countries currently possess around 12,500 nuclear weapons, more than enough out there to destroy the planet. But in the current uncertain environment, the consensus is that the number of these highly destructive weapons is only going to go in one direction.
If there is another world war, this civilization may go under. We need, I think, to learn to understand the realities of life abroad, not so much in terms of slogans as in terms of the lives of men. In our response to these realities, there is hope for peace.